Very pleased to be here tonight to host the last AMA of the week and the 8th AMA out of 10 with Yeasty tonight. So we have Juan and Nikola with us that will present themselves just after. And I'm hosting this session on Cardashift side with Owen.
Hi guys.
And we will discuss about Yeasty during almost an hour in English and just right after in French during a shortest session of 20 or 20, 30 minutes in French to discuss with our French community. But first thing first, let's begin with the English session. So we are Jeanne and Nicolas, so they will introduce themselves. But I will just want to remember you that you can ask any question in the chat. The aim of this session is to answer your questions, so please ask anything in the chat at any moment, and we'll try to answer all the questions. So hi, Nicolas and Juan. Or Juan. I don't know how to say this.
Juan. You can say Juan.
Yes. Nikola and Juan. I will let you the floor to introduce Yeasty in a few minutes. Can you give us an overview? Introduce yourself and Yeasty.
Perfect, great. Thank you. So I'm Juan, co-founder, COO of Yeasty. I'm in charge of product marketing and business development. So maybe to Nikola, if we can hear you well, if you want to introduce yourself, and then I can give you a short introduction of Yeasty.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Is it better now with the sound?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm Nikola. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Yeasty. I'm an engineer, and I'm also passionate about nature, as you can see behind me, and also about food and industrial processes.
Great. So to tell you a few words about Yeasty. So as you might have noticed on our communication, we love beer, but not only for ourselves and because of its sweet bitterness. We love beer because we think that thanks to beer, we'll be able to produce a new ingredient, sustainable ingredient that will be at the heart of the food transition that is necessary today. And how is that possible? It's possible because at Yeasty we have developed a unique process to get rid of the bitterness of brewer's yeast. So this bitterness was the key to unlock, to be finally able to revalorize this fantastic byproduct of the beer industry in food for food consumption. So it was before valorized in a few other ways, for example, for animal feed, which that does not solve the problem of the food transition that is required. And what do we obtain today? We obtain a super ingredient that has the form of a flour, a yeast flour, and that is composed of 50% protein, but is also rich in fibers, vitamins, minerals, all of that with a great umami taste. Umami means in Japanese delicious, tasty. It's kind of that tasty taste that has kind of a few meaty or cheesy notes that are naturally present and appreciated by the consumers. And what we really want to achieve is to offer this amazing protein, because this protein is rich in all essential amino acids, has a high digestibility, which is really important when we talk about protein. And we want to offer that amazing product at a competitive price. For example, there are some other great products, for example, algae, but who do not compete in terms of price with plant-based proteins, for example, pea or soy proteins. And we want to be competitive compared to those, to be able to allow the food industrials to develop the best products that are tasty, healthy, and sustainable for applications such as meat analogs, such as simili meat and meat analogs, such as also for sports nutrition, or even for undernutrition. In, for example, developing countries. And I want to finish maybe by our mission, that is to produce a sustainable protein for the planet and an alternative protein for all. Oh, sorry, Anna, we cannot hear you.
Sorry, perfect. Sorry. Thanks for this introduction. It was pretty clear, but I think that will develop and enhance our knowledge about you and what you're doing during the AMA. So I repeat, please ask any question. Feel free to ask any question in the chat, and Juan and Nikola will, I hope, answer. So just I can already see some questions in the chat. We'll answer them just after the two first questions. We will begin with Orion.
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you very much, Juan. The idea is great, but concretely, what is Yeasty role? What place are you playing in this? Are you delivering, transforming, processing, selling? To whom? Could you describe a little bit what are the different activities that you plan to have in Yeasty?
Sure. So what we do is that we retrieve the yeast from the brewers, from the industrials. So those are partners. They give us the yeast, but not for free, because we have that circular economy mindset, and we want also to be able to give them an interesting price for this yeast that before to them was a cost, an environmental but also an economical cost. So we want to retrieve that yeast from the beer makers, the beer industrials, and after that, what we do is we process it, and maybe I can give you a short overview of the process, and later on we can get to some more detailed steps. But we gather that we separate yeast from water. There's 80% of water at the beginning from what we get. We separate the water. We also separate some residues of spent grain, and we then gather the yeast. We then have our debittering process. We get rid of the bitterness, and at the end we just dry the yeast, deactivate the yeast, because it's a biological living thing, so we have to kill it. And at the same time, we dry that yeast. At the end, we have obtained our flour after that. So we sell an ingredient. And for now, we sell in a B2B focus. That is very important. Why? Because of the volumes. So we do not want to get lost spending too much, for example, on marketing consumers. We have to be focused on the volume, and volume also means more impact. So that's our first goal, is really to reach B2B players such as Nestle, such as startups, as well as Umiami, La Vie. So we're talking with different possible clients, as well as the under nutrition also players, broad potential, but really focus on human consumption at the beginning.
Okay. Great. Thanks for these explanations. I see a question very interesting in the chat while we are talking about yeast and your main core activities. Is every yeast the same? I think that this question happened when you were talking about taking yeast from beer industry, but do you have an answer about this?
Yes, brewers are using only one species of yeast, but different strain. So they are using Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This is the most common type species of yeast in the world. We are using it to make bread, to make wine, and also beer. So we have the same species, different strain. So we can have little differences between the different yeast we are reusing. We can have different bitterness and also different nutritional facts. So in our process, we are using two different steps to make every time the same final products in terms of the nutritional facts, but also in terms of the taste.
Okay. I think that it answered the question. Thanks for this. Okay, maybe taking a step back, we have another question in the chat. The first one that arrived when you were introducing Yeasty, about maybe your impact. So you were talking about the food transition. What do you mean by this term? What challenges are we facing? Cardano asks.
Can speak about the two main issues in this field. So the first one is that today 800 million people are suffering about they don't have any food to eat every day. So it's 1 in 10 people on the planet, and it's a big issue. In 2050, we will be 2 billion more on the planet, and how we will feed these people. So this is the first main issue. And the second one is that today meat consumption and our food consumption is causing more than 10% of the global greenhouse gases emissions. So we urgently need to decrease these impacts, and one of the best way to do that is to eat more vegetarian proteins, alternative proteins in our food consumption.
It's great also, sorry, in the document shared by Cardashift. So to everyone having more questions about that, it's a great document, great focus on the impact, because it's of course greenhouse gases emissions, but also the land use, water use, a lot of different impact that is caused by meat.
Okay.
So I think that we have another question in the chat. So the challenge for you is not to compete with soy protein; it's to compete with meat.
Actually, okay, great. Yeah, no, that's a great question. Our challenge that we face as B2B suppliers is indeed to compete or to be able to complement soy or some other proteins, or soy or pea proteins. We want to compete or more to complement those proteins, because this is not enough today in the mix. But indeed, our main goal is to reduce the impact of food consumption by reducing the impact of meat consumption. We want to give an alternative to meat, so that's our goal: give an alternative to meat. But to be able to have a strong and scalable and desirable alternative, we need to compete with the current proteins that are not enough for different reasons. For the taste, because they also lack some essential amino acids, because they need to be more processed, while we have a raw product that doesn't need more processing to reach a high content of protein. We have naturally 50% of protein. So indeed, we have many characteristics to compete or to complete plant proteins such as soy or pea. But our main goal is to give a real and convincing alternative to animal meat.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, I think it's clearer.
Yeah, very clear. We have, getting back to the technical part a little bit, we have a question from Drake Shifter. I think it was, is it okay, this one. In a world where there will be more and more food shortages, the beer production needs to remain steady or not? Like, do you rely on beer, so you need the beer industry resilience, if you can say so? And can we expect the people to keep drinking alcohol when they won't even have enough to eat? A bit of a dark mood, but I think we have to ask this question.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think first of all, I think you are very negative in your question, because I hope we will do something better and be able to feed everyone on this planet. So we are working for a lot of companies and organizations and states are working for that. I hope we will feed everybody in 30 years, but I'm not sure about that. And today we can see that 1 in 10 of the people that live on the planet don't eat as much as they need. But people drinks beer, and the beer market was in a high growth in the next 10 years, and now it's stable. So 5 million tons of yeast available. It represents with 5 million tons of yeast, we can feed more than 200 million people. So even if the market goes down by 50%, we will be able to feed so much people with this byproduct.
5 million ton of yeast. It's what the production of France, Europe, the world. I don't remember.
It's the worldwide production.
Worldwide production. Okay.
Okay.
So if you harness all the yeast of the world, you are able to feed 200 million people.
Yeah, more than 200 million, 250 approximately.
Okay.
Just the end of this question, even if it's a bit negative, made me think about like another part of the question. Is talking about keep drinking alcohol. Why you won't even have enough to eat? In fact, I think it raised the question of your production sites. It's often not at the same place that people drink beer and the breweries than the places in the world that where we are lacking food. So how are you managing this in the world? I think that I can imagine that you're taking yeast from breweries in more developed countries than the countries you're targeting to feed. Is it this? Can you?
Yeah, we can think that we drink more beer and we produce more beer in the rich country, but that's not exactly. See very big breweries in Africa and also in the south of Asia. Also, we can see that China is the first beer producer in the world. So we also have very big potential in Asia and Africa, the two continents where we have the biggest needs and also the biggest potential to grow our activities.
Okay, and this made me think of a question of Spartan 3733. He said, maybe a stupid question, but is it simple to recover yeast waste from beer industry? And are these production sites centralized? Like, are you targeting industry with a big production capacity or?
Okay. So to answer the first question, it is not simple, and that's why Yeasty have a great value because we know how to reuse this yeast, but nobody else knows how to do it right now. So it is not simple, but we are using simple processes, unknown but simple processes, and not too many processes. So it's not simple, but we know how to do it. And to answer the second part of the question, we want to make our plants has, how can I say, at the breweries. We want to make many different plants at on site with the breweries, but with big breweries. So, for example, in France, we can make plants from 500 to 1,500 tons per year of yeast. So it represents 20 million and 200 million.
Okay, we can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's better now?
Yes.
Yep.
I was saying that in France, we can make plants from 500 to 1,500 tons every year, and it represents between 20 and 200 million euros of turnover.
Okay. thanks for this numbers. I give a good overview of the numbers. And okay, there is Nico, sorry. I have another question of Drake just below about the health part of your activity. You were talking, but yeah, because you were talking about medical treatment in a way. Is it? I think we can talk about the prioritization of your roadmap also in this part. What are your priorities, and are you already working on this now, or yeah?
Okay, so maybe about that, just to give take a step back as well. So our product is not a novel food, which is kind of a common term in the food industry, meaning that it has been like the yeast that we produce at the end has been consumed from a few decades now, and so it's not considered as a novel food by the European institutions or elsewhere in the world. So this is a great plus for us because, for example, compared to a cultured meat or to a fermentation proteins, we do not have those few steps that are quite lengthy indeed.
Okay.
So we do not have to get approved as a medical. I'm guessing maybe the question goes into that sense. We do not have to get approval specifically for the ingredient in itself, but maybe to talk about one special market that is under nutrition. For example, it can also be health nutrition if we work with actors such as NutriSense, NutriSet. So indeed, they can be qualified as health nutrition, and they have to work hard indeed to get their products to be labeled, to be certified. So it would take a little longer with them than with other markets, for example, such as meat analogs, to get the product to the market because of their lengthier processes due to their main market focus. But our product does not have that characteristic by itself. So that's a key market for our DNA that social impact we want to have, but it's not the first one we'll be able to reach indeed.
Yeah. Okay, that's clear. Okay.
Very clear. Maybe we have a lot of questions about markets. Before going into this, maybe we can finish and wrap it up with the patents one, because you say Yeasty has an incredible value because you are the only one able to deal with the do you have ongoing patents or something alike? We have Lidoring and others that are asking questions in the chat.
Yeah, thank you for this question. So as I said before, we have really a unique and innovative process that we develop at Yeasty, and we are now working to patent this debittering process. So we want to file the patents in July. It will be filed in July, and we will be truly protect on this side. On the debittering process, and we also develop a lot of savoir-faire and lot
know-how.
of different know-how. Thank you, Juan. So on different processes, on the downstream processes. So we have the patents, and we also have all this know-how with us.
Okay. Clear on this. And I think that we can jump on the question about the markets, come back on markets. So, sorry for your name, but hai quita consideratio is asking that you were mentioning potential B2B clients before. Do you approach these potential clients with particular ethical considerations, or how? And yeah, it made me think about the selection of your clients and which market you're targeting.
Great. So the thing is that indeed we want to work with a a large panel of clients. If we speak about, for example, the undernutrition market, often it will be clearer to see that ethical considerations. But we also have to see that in the industry, there is really a trend, and that's a great thing that because all the persons we talk with, even if it's in the meat analogs, if it's in the sport nutrition sector, they are really aware that they have to change the way things are done. And I mostly see people working in the R&D team around plant-based, and that type of clients. Those are really our clients, or first line of clients. They have really strong ethical considerations and are getting a good sense that they have to change the way they produce. They have to change the products. And that's actually the consumers who are sending these very strong signals. And it's very encouraging for us to see that this is quite a global trend, is clean labeling, eco labeling. That's very important. So we approach our clients that want to actually reach to enhance their impact. And often they want to do it by using upcycled products, using more sustainable products, and we want to help them reach that. So every step is a small step with each client, but it has a broad goal.
Okay.
Okay.
And so your solution is well perceived by your B2B clients. And if Lidering was also asking how it is perceived by the breweries.
Okay.
First,
So,
about the breweries, Nicola.
oh yes, first about the breweries. So today breweries have two main options to reuse their yeast. The first one is to sell it for feedstock nutrition, and these clients are buying yeast for between 50 and 100 euros per ton. And the second option is to just throw it to the sewer, and then it's environmental and also an economical cost for the brewery and also for the society. So at Yeasty, we are proposing to buy the yeast at 150 euros per ton. So it's 2 or 3 times the market price. And for example, at the Heineken scale, if they implement our solution at the group scale, they will have 100 million euros more turnover every year.
Okay.
So they love our solution. They all want they all want us to come and take the yeast, but it's not possible for now. I hope in few years we will be able to reuse a lot of yeast.
Because at what stage are you? Cardanosaur was asking the question. Do you have already a prototype, an up and running first trial factory maybe? What?
Okay, today we are working at the lab scale. So we have prototypes. We have our first products. We test this product in 2 different applications. We test it on protein enriched pasta and also in a kind of how can I say patties, vegetarian patties, and we have real good results. So now we are working to send samples to the 21st industrials that want to test the product, and in a few months we will have many different applications tested and tasty making by our first clients.
Okay, and can we already know which some names of your clients, or is it secret?
Maybe Juan can say more about that.
Okay. Yes. No. That's we can give you a few names of clients we have been discussing with. So indeed, nothing for now is signed because we are still waiting to get the product the test samples. So it's not confidential up until now. But maybe also to answer the first question, how are we perceived? And that also I'll try to answer both at the same time for the B2B clients. Exactly, I try to answer both at the same time. So what we hear is often that they have a great perception of the potential in terms of nutritional aspects. So they really see that, and that was great for us to see that they value the completeness of a natural product. Because some trends in the industry tend to go to an overly processed ingredients, really extracts, concentrates, etc. We propose a raw and natural product, and that is really well perceived. So this is great. And also this umami taste is often a great argument for us when it's salty preparations, for example, plant-based or patties and meat imitations, meat analogs. This is very well perceived. But all of them have in common. So some of them also talk about functional characteristic, etc. This varies, but all of them have in common that they're interested in the upcycling part, in the impact side of our business, and this is quite of a general perception from our clients, and they really are trying to progress on those aspects. And to give you a few maybe client names, so we indeed have been talking, for example, to Nestle, to some startups like Umiami, to La Vie, to a group that is called Nutrition et Santé, which is a great group that makes some patties like cereal bio. In the under nutrition sector, we've been talking to NutriSense, NutriSet, for example, who are big players. And we, for example, have also been approached by some players like Purina on pet food or L'Oreal on cosmetics that are really interesting in our product, but that we cannot serve as of now because it would be another R&D line and development. So we really, as I was saying, focus on human food consumption because that's the goal, that's our DNA. They want to reach first, but why not think of those markets if we can have also an interesting impact after that?
Okay, very interesting. Thank you very much. So right now you are very B2B, already well perceived by the brewers thanks to the property of your yeast. But we have questions. Do you want to have your brand B2C in the long run? And also we have from, I won't say your name, I'm sorry, planning on going B2C someday. Could small recipe creators use your protein and market it with you?
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome someday to have that, and working with chefs, indeed, small recipe creators. That could be a great. Thing is with B2C, it's a lot of work, different work from what you do when you do the B2B, when you're thinking about scaling, about building that industrial plant. That is really our main focus. Our focus is to have enough demand to be able to secure the fundings to build the sites. So that is our strong focus. But I think, and that also is something that I think we have in common with Nikola, but with Mathieu as well, who is our third co-founder and the CTO, is that we want to be able to be creative, and we might think of launching something in B2C in a few years, not our first focus, but why not in a few years? And yeah, that would be a great thing to have.
So your three co-founders, how many people are behind Yeasty?
Yeah.
How is your team? What expertise do you have in your team?
Back to Yeasty.
Okay, so today we are only 3 co-founders. We don't hire anyone for now. So we are 2 engineers from AgroParisTech. It's an engineering school specialized in like biology, food industry, environment, lot of things. So I specialize in circular economy and then in corporate management and finance. Mathieu, our CTO, is truly specialized in the food industry and also in the industrial processes. And Juan, maybe I can let you present yourself.
So I'm from a business background, from a business school called ESSEC, and also from an engineering background, but in very different domain, in data sciences from Central. So nothing to do from with what I'm doing today. I started my career as a product manager, more in a tech software, but also hardware company, and I switched path few years ago to start more in the clean tech environment, and I specialize in the food tech environment. And this is when I met Mathieu and Nikola with their great solution and product.
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe to add something about the people, today we also have a very great strategic board with us. They have many competencies about finance, uh, developing companies, and research, and a lot of things. And this year we will hire 7 people, um, a lot in the R&D side, on the downstream processes, also on the formulation, on the debitering process, and also on the business side. So now we make the first offer for a first profile this week.
Okay.
For head of marketing that we hope that will accept and join us in September.
Okay, yeah, that's great. And it just made me think, how did Yeasty born? Where did the idea come from? What's the story behind Yeasty, the creation of Yeasty?
Okay, so first the project starts from a real desire from the founding team to have a positive impact on the society. In 2020, when I was a student at AgroParisTech, I started with searching industrial byproducts that can have a potential in food or energy applications. So I've seen many different byproducts, many different studies. I think about tens of projects, and I finally found that 5 million tons of yeast are wasted every year. And I knew about the nutritional value of this microorganism because I was taking yeast for sport nutrition. And I called a friend that worked in a brewery.
Oh,
We lost Nikola, I think.
no, we
Okay.
lost Pierre some minutes
see.
ago, but this sound too.
Can you hear me?
You're back, Nikola?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're back online.
And we just lost you when you were talking about the guy you met in a brewery.
Yeah.
A brewer.
Okay, so I asked this friend, so what do you do with this yeast, with this spent yeast? And he just said to me that the tree to the sewer, and that many brewers are searching for a solution, and so the need for the brewers was qualified, and then you just have to look at 2 or 3 studies to see that the alternative protein market is growing, the industrial are searching for a solution, so that's why the Yeasty project starts.
Okay. Okay, thanks. Give a bit an overview of what you did. And when was it? It was
The project starts exactly in June 2020, so 2 years ago now.
okay. That's great. Congrats for the path. Okay. But, um, some thanks from the community too, for your answers, Juan, Nicola. Just
Some great ideas as well. Top Chef episodes using Yeasty. I would love that.
For your B2C launch, that'd be perfect. In
Okay,
France,
for a few years maybe.
for the English one, Stop Chef is a French program TV where top chefs are cooking, and it's a contest.
a reality TV show about cooking, only the French.
No. Reality TV show.
Okay, so anyone in charge of your environmental footprint at Yeasty, especially on the downstream value chain? and especially for your processes, I guess.
How do you deal with this?
Yeah, today Mathieu, our CTO, is in charge of the impact parts because he know very well the industrial processes and also the way we can optimize and make it better for the environment and also to decrease the cost of the process because every time we decrease the impact on the environment, we also decrease the cost of our process. So it's a good thing for the company, and Mathieu is in charge of it and he's very good at it.
And also, we'll be launching a life cycle analysis this year, a very thorough life cycle analysis with an external consultancy company at the end of our fundraising. So that's also one of the reasons we're raising money.
Okay.
Good.
We have
The
also
country.
another question. In which country are you going to launch Yeasty and why?
Launch Yeasty in France because here we have a great ecosystem for food startups. We have many partners here. We have also many clients. In France, we have around 25 or 30% of the people that says that they are at least flexitarian. So we have a lot of clients. We have a lot of partners. A very good ecosystem to finance the project, to make the research with different laboratories. So yeah, in France for sure, but we have great ambitions and we want quickly to go in Asia because Asia is the biggest market, the fastest growing market, and also a market where people are very open to food innovation.
I know that we had the question we didn't take from Lola Cravash. What are the challenges you're facing to become mainstream? Can you detail that on the side?
So, I fully understand the question, but the challenge is to be able to become mainstream. I'm guessing to be able to have our product sold incorporated in many products, sold in many potential markets. Maybe one day. Sorry.
Or known by everyone, I think.
Known by everyone. The difficult part about being known by everyone is that it is not our main focus as of now, as we have B2B clients. So, for example, we'll not start doing a broader communication campaigns, but there's still some ways we're thinking of to start letting people know that the yeast is a great ingredient. So, of course, that is something that will also be done by our clients, by our B2B clients. But, for example, we could imagine a co-branding for some very specific and very easy to understand products and compositions. For example, pasta. So Nikola spoke about pasta, and it's because it's a great product to make. It's so easy. You have 3 ingredients. If you add the yeast, you have 3 ingredients. Very easy to understand. And with one pasta meal, you can have your the same amount of proteins as if you were eating like meat, red meat or chicken, and with the same nutritional properties in terms of digestibility, in terms of essential amino acids, in terms of iron, for instance. That is very important to have iron as well in our product because you have it in meat and you often don't have it in plant-based preparations. So that is something we can do. We can also work with biscuits, like crackers, like apéro crackers that goes very well with the beer also ecosystem. So you drink your beer and you eat at the same time some biscuit that has great taste and that is actually made thanks to that beer. So the loop is interesting, and so we might do some co-branding around that. Sorry, I was not such an easy question. So not our main focus to become mainstream in terms of communication, but a few ways, especially around co-branding.
Okay.
Okay. Just after the challenges, I think that the question on the risk is interesting. We had a question of, do you see any risks for EST? I think in its development.
There is many risks in an industrial project and in all entrepreneurial projects, our company, and we can see that we are not in the best time to finance our company. Not only our company, but all the company. You can see today the different markets, also the crypto market. You can see not the best time to finance a project, but we need a lot of money to finance different industrialization steps. And if we can't find the money for it, it will be very bad for Yeasty. So this is one risk, but we don't have any problem issue for now. It can be in the next years. Another one can be the market, the consumers. We can make many studies on the market and the consumers, but they do what they want. So if they don't want to eat yeast, they will not. But so this is one risk. It's not a big risk for the maybe 5 or 10 first years of the project, but maybe to grow and to make a lot of volume, it can be an issue.
Yeah.
And I think if I will say a third point, a very important point, will be the competitors. Today we have many competitors: soy protein, pea proteins, insect proteins. We don't know how they will grow in the next year. We know that we are better than pea protein and soy protein, and many different competitors, but we don't know if any players that not exist today, maybe in 10 years, someone will come with a best process, a best idea, and we will be, they will have a best product for a better price, and we will not be able to grow the company. So there is many risks, but we are managing all these risks, and we are working to develop it.
Work hard. Okay, it's great. Okay, that's the time, I think, for many questions a bit out of the subject, but you can answer or not. Are you ready? So we had, do you have some crypto? I don't know if we can answer this question, but who knows? You want to answer? No, it's not.
I can answer. I have a little bit, few cryptocurrencies, and I have crap, of course.
Okay. Okay, great. A great answer. How many people drink beers on a weekly basis around the world? It's so precise. So, do you know this? You can say no.
I don't know. I'm very sorry. I don't know, but I think we can find this information.
Okay. So, and from the same person, the more beers we drink, the better, right?
The better for sure, but we cannot communicate like that, because we will have some issue if we communicate like that.
Okay.
Just okay. Say.
We had also some question about future projection. Let's say you manage to get the whole market, so the 500 million tons yearly. Where do you invest your time, effort, and money?
Is it 5?
Good question. First, 500 million tons of yeast, we will be able to make around 30 billion euros of turnover. So it's a very, very, very big company. It's a lot of money to finance all of that. So impossible for now. Maybe in 100 or 150 years, it's possible, but not in the next 20 years for sure. But for sure in the production and on the business side, what we need, if we have the yeast, what we are doing today, we need the clients and we need the production capabilities. So on these two sides.
Okay. Okay, it's great.
And another question about also maybe long-term view is, are you targeting other yeast or waste from the food industry? And I want to add maybe from other industry after the beer yeast.
Yeah, one of the biggest potential is from the distillery. We have a lot of yeast in the distillery, and a few weeks ago, Mathieu get some samples from a distillery, and we will see what will happen with it. But if we can use also this yeast, we will have a real big market. Just before I speak about 30 billion euros with only the brewer's yeast, but if we add the distillery, it will be 2 times or more than that.
Just to make sure we understand, when you talk about distillery, are you talking about whiskey or other specific alcohol or all alcohol?
We can speak about all alcohol. We can speak about whiskey, vodka, all these things we drink. But we can also speak about bioethanol we are using for energy as a fuel for car, for example.
Okay.
Okay.
It's the same alcohol we drink.
Okay. And on plans too, when do you plan to have your first yeasty factory? It's about roadmap.
When? Okay. We want to commission our first plant in 2023. So at the start of the second semester, and it will be a pre-industrial scale plant.
Okay.
So we will be able to produce 100 ton of yeast every year.
Okay, that's great. Okay.
Sorry, I have an answer for one of the questions. I just found it. For example, in France, 50 liters of beer per year per person. That's actually not too bad.
50? So almost 1 liter per person per week.
Wow.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense. Wow. So some people might be above that. I don't know. It's a lot. It seems like a lot. That's in our word in data. Where I found that. So it should be a good data.
Yeah.
It's a good source. So I don't know. It's a lot.
Gosh. Yeah, vive la France. Okay, Vitalik Govan, I think that we can elect your question as the best joke we can make today. I don't know if everyone gets this, but congrats. I won't show it, but great. And I think we will finish this English session with a super question for the end. Why should I vote for you? I'll hit the floor.
Okay, because we have great ambition, great vision for the food market, the food industry, and we have the competencies to grow this company. Of course, we are working to have a great impact and a great environmental impact, but also a great social impact in Africa, in Asia, in America, also to make the people eat better. And also, you will invest in Yeasty, not only finance Yeasty. So we make a great tokenomics for Yeasty, and next week we will speak about that. We will speak about that on the Discord. I finish some modelization with it, your investments will be first. How can I say? With there will be a real bond between the money and the impact of Yeasty and your investments. So, if you want to know more about that, just look at the Discord next week.
Okay. Great. Thanks.
Juan, do you have something to add?
Yeah.
Well, I truly, profoundly believe you have an incredible product, and that's also what I saw with all that potential. And of course, the team when I joined a few months ago, Nikola and Mathieu with their great solution straight out of the lab, and that immense potential we have. We see it in the field every day with the potential clients, and of course with the consumers that are really looking for that type of trend. So we hope we'll be able to have that impact and to give you delicious and nutritious food.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for this answer. Hope it convinced all of you. And thanks for this English AMA session. We'll switch into French in some minutes. Thanks a bunch. I will just hide the question. Okay, perfect. Thanks a bunch, and see you in a few minutes in French.
Thank you, everyone.